Hello, my name is David Hughes and I am from Zero Bubble Model Design. Thought I'd take the opportunity today to show you 3 of my kits out of the 5 that I produce, lined up here to show you what is involved in a kit. So you have the Mike, the Delta and the Papa. These are 3 rarely modelled Russian submarine types, nuclear types, and what you see here is the basic kit instructions. Every time I produce a kit, I like to produce thorough instructions to go with it. The Mike was the first kit I produced 4 years ago, and at that stage I hadn't done computer modelling. So my illustrations are all literally hand-drawn, but I think they work well to show the purchaser how the kit assembles together, and it's reasonably straightforward. What you get in the kit is obviously 2 hull parts. You have the top hull at the bottom there with the detail of the top of the hull casing, and you also have a bottom hull underneath. They are polyester resin gel coat hulls. They're solidly built. They will last a long time. Parts and appendages that come with the kit include the sail fin parts that you see here, the top of the sail or the fin and the 2 side pieces. They are also polyester resin, and you also get the polyurethane cast parts that you see here. I'm holding to the stern hydroplanes and also Mike's unique propeller or screw design that you see there. The next kit that you see there is the Papa class. It is a twin screw boat and it's a little bit smaller than the Mike. Now, I produced it about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, and at that stage I was computer generating a lot of the cast parts, and when I develop a kit I produce a 3D model of it in Blender, and the 3D model goes a long way to developing the illustrations that I use now for my instruction manuals on how to assemble the kit. So I like to think they're pretty straightforward, but certainly any feedback from anyone on the quality of those instructions would be greatly appreciated. So as you can see there, it's a 2-part polyester mold. It uses a grey gel coat with some fine layers of weave underneath. I don't do flimsy hulls, I do quite solid hulls. Here we look at the Delta 4, which is the most recent model I've produced. Here's the instruction manual for it. Once again, computer generated design for all the appendages, and the boat means that I can produce what I think are reasonably clear instructions for how to put the boat together. I use the Z-cut format, which I will illustrate later, but there you have the instruction manual, and of course you have the finished boat. The fin on the Delta or the sail is a one-piece design. I've never produced a one-piece silicon mold fin before, but I think it's turned out reasonably well. And you've got all your cast polyurethane appendage parts for the Delta. So there are the 3 kits. 3 of the 5 kits. I also produced the Resolution and the Bory, which I haven't shown here, but they're similar size. So I hope this gives you some idea of the parts that go into one of my kits and what you can do with it. Thank you. Here I have the lineup of several of my models: Papa, Mike, Resolution, Delta, and just in the very left corner of the picture, just before it finishes, you'll get to see a little bit of the Bory with its pump jet. Here we have the finished kits. These are what the 3 look like when they're finished, as opposed to what you see over there with the unfinished kits. And you have the Mike at the top, the Papa, and of course the larger 140 scale Delta at the bottom. The Papa and the Mike are 1:20 scale. So this is how you could produce them if you wish to produce the design with weathering and a waterline. This is how my models have ended up looking like. They all run beautifully. The Papa in the middle is a superb little model. It's only my first twin shaft boat, and you'll see a little bit of film of it in the water, and it runs beautifully. The Papa was a twin screw, twin reactor, titanium hulled boat built in the Soviet Union in the late 60s, operational until the 80s. It holds the world speed record. It is the fastest sub that we know of. Last kit is the Delta 4. This is the most recent kit that I've produced. It went into production at the end of 2019. With the Bori and the Delta class boats, they're quite large. They're 1 to 140 scale. So what I do is I create a separation between the stern and the main part of the hull for both the top and bottom hull halves. I do this to make shipping easier, because if they're over a certain length, Australia Post makes it really, really expensive for you. So I cut the hull in half, both top and bottom, to make the shipping shorter. Here you see the Z cut that I create for my parts, and you see the two dog legs couplings to make it easier and precise, and you have the size and area there for a small cylinder. It's not a big cylinder, but it's big enough to carry all the essential components. You have the couplings for the shafts, and there once again is the space for the cylinder with about a 70mm diameter, 76mm diameter. There is the ballast tank. The little red lugs on the side are for my antennas to connect through. I weave the antenna through around the front, around the battery, and then back to the ballast tank. So the ballast tank is just a PVC pipe with an inlet pipe. It's pressurized, obviously. It uses a shear line system that forces water into the tank. And then the air pressure forces it back out. The 12-volt battery is in that front compartment in the little foam box that you see there. The back of the boat with the couplings, I use magnetic couplings, as you can see here. They're quite free and moving really nicely, even though the Delta has tiny tail fins. I'm surprised at how manoeuvrable it is considering how small they actually are. The front of the boat, the top half has a metal lug underneath that you can see there, and that uses a bolt attachment that comes underneath through the hole in the very front of the bottom part of the hull that you can see there, next in front of the battery area. Here I thought I'd show you some video of the original boats. This is Mike. This film was taken probably in sea trials in about 83, 84. Of course, she sank in the Norwegian Sea in 89. The next boat here is Papa. We don't have a lot of photos of Papa, but we have plenty of good film, and we actually have a lot of really good engineering drawings, particularly internal drawings of Papa, but not a lot of photos. Finally, we have the Delta IV, Project 667 BDRM, Karelia. Thank you for looking at my video. I hope this has given you a view of the kind of stuff I produce. If you're interested, please contact me.